It's the Pete Souza Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
It is the Pete Souza Show. It is a Monday. We are live from the Alico building, presented by Slovacics. Thank you to Crawford Austin Properties, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, and of course, Socorro Family Ford. A lot going on today, and Big 12 Media Days is ahead of us. We'd like to thank you guys, by the way. By the way, Scotty, you see everything's backwards? Is it coming up wrong? Okay, the screen, my screen is, my confidence monitor is leading to no confidence, but it's fine. We're all good. Thank you, everybody. 54,000 subscribers we had over the weekend. I very, very much appreciate everybody getting involved. And obviously there was a real tragedy in Central Texas over the weekend. We'll talk a little about that later in the show, but if you want to donate, there's a scroll at the bottom where you can get involved. Don't want to take any more of his time because he's waiting in the wings. He's got a very busy day ahead of Big 12 Media Days. He is Pete Mundo from HeartlandCollegeSports.com. Pete, thank you so much for taking time. I know this time of year for all of us, it can get a little crazy. And I know you guys are going to have a presence at Media Days, and HeartlandCollegeSports.com is the place to go to stay updated.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's kind of the unofficial kickoff to college football in my eyes. We kind of figure out how to get through the last couple of months, and now we get to scratch that itch a little bit this week. So it's going to be great, Pete. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thank you so much. Your guys' stuff has been so helpful to me, whether I'm getting ready for a show or a game broadcast. I encourage people to take a look if you haven't seen it already. And some of the insight we're going to get into now. One thing I want to ask you ahead of Media Days, well, there's a bunch of stuff I want to ask you. Colorado, 2 quarterbacks going to Frisco to the Star for Big 12 Media Days. What's Coach Prime trying to say there with that? You got 2 guys in a quarterback battle. I've never seen this before, both going to Media Days.
Well, I think for Coach Prime, it's just doing what he does, being outside the box and making himself the center of the conversation. Not that he needed to do that any further than he already will be, but that's how he likes to go about it. And, I think it's a fascinating time for Colorado because everyone assumes there's this major drop-off with Shadur and Travis Hunter gone. But I wonder if this actually allows us to see what kind of program Prime has built through the high school recruiting ranks, which he has done an underrated job in the last couple of years and cycles, along with a very good transfer portal class once again. So people in Boulder are really confident in what they've got in this team. There may not be as much flash. There's not a Heisman contender, but they're getting better and better in the trenches on both sides. And we know it's cliche, but that's where you win football games. We saw some improvement there, especially from the O-line last year, but expecting a major improvement on both sides this year. And that's why there is quiet confidence, as much as things can be quiet around Deion Sanders, there is quiet confidence with this team going into 2025.
Yeah, and this is you're exactly right. There is so much anticipation for this season, and it will be so interesting to see how Colorado responds with just a whole new look and a whole new offense, personnel-wise. What other players are you most looking forward to hearing from at Media Days?
Well, I would say there's if I put together a top 5, I would certainly put the Colorado quarterbacks in there that are both going to be at Media Days, Lewis and Salter. And then I would throw in Lee Hunter is an interesting name. He transferred from UCF to Texas Tech. He started his career at Auburn, and he's a guy who obviously is going Big 12 school to Big 12 school. He's part of this huge Texas Tech transfer portal haul that they got the last few months, and he knows the Big 12 very well, playing at UCF the last couple of seasons. So anytime a guy transfers in conference, especially a star like that, I mean, people outside the Big 12 probably won't know his name unless you're a diehard college football fan. But this guy's one of the best defensive linemen in the country, and he's staying inside the Big 12, and he could play a big role in Texas Tech, which has also put an incredible emphasis on its defensive line and offensive line in the conversation for a college football playoff. I would throw Chase Roberts in there, BYU wide receiver, veteran guy, been around the block. They're obviously now searching for a quarterback after Jake Retzlaff was going to be suspended and decided to transfer after what happened between him and a co-ed there at BYU. I would want to hear from Sam Leavitt, the Arizona State quarterback, who, if there's probably a Heisman finalist in the Big 12, Sam Leavitt would be at the top of that conversation list because what Arizona State brings back. He's potential first-round NFL draft pick next year. And then, maybe an outlier for some people, but I would have him on the list, is Noah Fafita, the quarterback at Arizona, who last year at this time, a lot of people thought this guy could be the best quarterback in the Big 12, and he had a terrible season. I mean, they were just awful last year. They've got a new offensive coordinator in Seth Baggy. Their head coach, Brent Brennan, is frankly on a hot seat in year 2. And how a guy went from so productive 2 years ago to as bad as he was last year, different coaching staff, but what is his confidence level like? Can Arizona be a surprise team? And a lot of it will be based on whether or not Noah Fafita finds his 2023 form. So that would be just off the top of my head, Pete, the top 5 on that list.
So you mentioned three quarterbacks there and a quarterbacking situation at BYU. You know, we're in Central Texas, so we can be a very captive audience here. But can't be denied Sawyer Robertson's rise has been certainly impressive, and there's a lot of hype around him coming in to this season. Someone like you with maybe a clearer perspective, what do you expect from Sawyer Robertson this season and going into media days? Is the hype worth it?
Yeah, I think it is. Listen, I think Sawyer Robertson could end the year as the best quarterback in the Big 12. And with Bryson Washington, they may have the best 1-2 punch quarterback running back in the entire conference. But I just wouldn't put him as like the most intriguing guy to talk to at media days this week. But I think the Baylor, if you want to call it the hype machine in Central Texas, especially in Waco, I think it's warranted based on how they ended last season. Frankly, I would have some more questions around what's going on defensively than offensively this season. So I have complete confidence that Sawyer Robertson, if he lives up to the hype of what I think he can be and what his ceiling is, it's Baylor probably playing in a Big 12 championship game for the right to go to the college football playoff this season. That wouldn't stun me at all.
Yeah, the Baylor, you could say, is in the mold of maybe a TCU or an Arizona State. You know, two of the last 3 years, we've had someone from the Big 12 emerge as a national power. Outside of Baylor, who could be that sleeper this year in the Big 12 that all of a sudden around January we're looking at these guys and they're still dancing, and we never expected that?
Well, I don't know about never expected it, but like TCU up the road, same situation there with Josh Hoover. If they turn in the kind of season that I think they're capable of offensively, and if the defense just takes a step forward under their second-year defensive coordinator, then they're a team that we should be looking at and saying, well, TCU, I think their win total is like 6 or 6.5. Should have hammered the over on the Horned Frogs. I mean, I still would do that. But if we really want to talk about, what that looks like come a potential college football playoff appearance, I think that there is quiet confidence with Sonny Dykes and his crew as well. I mentioned Colorado, and if things just work at some of the positions of need, skill position-wise, if they are as good in the trenches as people project them to be, that may be a surprise as well. And I would put Kansas on that list. I mean, Jalen Daniels comes back, and if you remember, Jalen Daniels, their quarterback, was hurt on and off for 2 years prior to 2024. He comes back last year, he's healthy, and they lose a lot of close games the first half of the season. I mean, it was like just every game it seemed like they're in it, but they lost a lot of close games. And then they have this great stretch last year in the second half, October into November, when they were just on absolute fire. And they beat 3 ranked teams in a row. They had a great finish to the season. And just like Baylor, they finished strong, and I don't think really are getting enough attention for it. So I would put Kansas on that surprise list. But here's the thing about the Big 12, Pete. You could probably make the case for 9 teams to win this league this year, and there's not another conference in the country that comes close to that number.
No, sir, there is not. From coaches, the coaching perspective heading into media days, 2 guys that we know but haven't seen in a while, right? Scott Frost and Rich Rod. Both of, especially Frost, we've never seen him win at the Power 4 level, really, because UCF, they weren't, you've talked about this, they weren't a Power 4 when he had such great success. Rich Rod, it would just be interesting to see him coming from Jack State, how he reintegrates into West Virginia and the competition in the Big 12. Which coach and which program do you see as more likely to experience success this year?
Well, this year it would be West Virginia. I think they brought in 50 transfer portal players, and they at least have a quarterback returning in Nico Marchiol, who has done it. So UCF is going to be starting a new guy and a new quarterback. So if I've got to take one of these guys, it will be Rich Rod, just bringing some more energy to the program, hitting on a bunch of transfers, and also having a quarterback who just has played at the D1 Power 4 level and takes that next step. So of the 2 of them, I would take West Virginia for this year. But I do think UCF can be a sleeping giant in this conference because of, first off, geographically, proximity to high-end talent, the fact that the alumni base is massive and growing, the amount of money that can be put into that program and NIL. You can't ask for much better than Florida, Orlando, what they've got around them. So I think the upside is amazing for UCF. But whether or not Scott Frost is the guy to do that is obviously a huge question mark based on how his tenure went at Nebraska.
All right, one more for you, and then we'll get you out of here. Texas Tech, what is your level of expectation for them this year on the field, right? We're all aware of what's going on in the offseason and all the new toys and the fireworks that they've exhibited money-wise and their ability to get guys to Lubbock. But what is the reality on the field for this team led by Baron Morton at quarterback this year?
Well, I think it's Big 12 or bust for Texas Tech. You can't bring in that level of talent and in this conference where there isn't a team to beat, not say that if you don't win the Big 12, it's anything but a disappointment. I just think that those are the expectations, and they should be fairly the expectations. That puts a lot of pressure on Joey McGuire, but I don't think 8-4 is the kind of year you look at with this team and say that's a success. Now they have some tough road trips. Going to Utah is not easy. Going to Arizona State's not easy. K-State's not an easy place to play. And ending the season in Morgantown, where it could be, 22 degrees and snowing, with a team that may have nothing to lose or potentially playing for a bowl berth, is not going to be pretty either. So the schedule, to me, is not that favorable for Tech. But you know what? You bring in that kind of class, you spend that kind of dough, expectations should be high. And I think if this team comes short of winning the Big 12, there will be a large percentage of that fan base that says, you know what, this season was a letdown, and I think they would be fair to have that characterization.
Pete Mundo, heartlandcollegesports.com. Go to the website, check out all the stories. Also, watch the show on YouTube. You're getting us through the dog days of summer, Pete, so I appreciate it, dude. And I'll be looking for your guy. Who is going to be up in Frisco for you guys?
We'll have our guy Matthew Poston's there. He does a lot of the feature writing for us. So yeah, if you need to hear from him, just reach out and we can get you guys connected.
All right, thank you so much, Pete. Appreciate you, dude.
You betcha, guys. Have a great day. Thanks, Pete.
You got it, man. Pete Mundo does a great job, and obviously, right there, if you're not familiar with his work, you are now. Scotty Swingler, I bring you up now. You're our local Big 12 aficionado. You had to like, by the way, what you heard about Baylor, and the 1-2 punch of Sawyer Robertson and Bryson Washington. I feel like the nation is starting to.
I don't.
You don't?
No. No,
Really?
Dude, if you look, when you say the nation, right, we are in our little bubble here in Central Texas, and everyone has known since about November that perhaps the best quarterback running back combo in college football is Sawyer Robertson and Bryson Washington.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say it's in college football, not even Big 12. I'll take those two guys over anybody, okay? But, nah, dude, I see these lists come out, and I know, like, X is also a bubble, but every time I see a national account list writer, a guy like Joel Klatt puts out a list of top 10 quarterbacks, Sawyer Robertson's not on it. So I still think most national perspective people are so SEC, Big Ten locked in, they are sleeping on these guys. I think they are.
What did you make about what he said? I thought that's why I love talking to guys who actually know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, they cover it, yeah.
Well, when he talked about Baylor's defense, that raised an eyebrow to me because that's a position or a unit for Baylor that a lot of times someone like me is like, oh, well, we've got that covered because Dave Aranda.
Because Dave Aranda, right.
Never on his watch will we have any slippage there. But as someone like you who really, gets sort of hyperbolic about this Baylor team, no, really, like, what do you know about – I'm asking you.
Yeah.
What do you know about the defense, and what do you expect from Baylor's defense this year?
Man, it all comes down to these transfers and how they play. You brought in transfers at all three levels that are well thought of for the most part, but you got help up front with two edge rushers, Winston and Fobbs White. Reports out of camp are good. Okay. You got help in your linebacking core. Travion Barnes, as we pulled up the EA player rankings for Baylor, is one of their highest rated players in that game. And then Phoenix Jackson, kid from Fresno State that transferred in, Dave Aranda, and I listened to it 4 times because I couldn't believe he said it. He said, when healthy, best player on that defense. So you've got 2 linebackers that are, along with Ketron Jackson. Not Ketron Jackson, that's the receiver.
No, Keaton Thomas.
Thank you. My brain just –
Dude.
I was scrambling right before the show today, so
me too.
my brain just misfired. Thank you, Keaton Thomas, of course.
Yeah.
And then in the secondary, you've gotten 2 safeties and 2 corners that came in as well. So you addressed the personnel issues because it was personnel issues. But I don't know how those guys are going to play against Auburn. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out. You can do all you want in camp, but we'll know August 29th at halftime. We're going to say, okay, those guys, good. Those guys, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It comes down to personnel, man. You have to have a pass rush, though. Like last year, people are so picking on the secondary, and I even last week talked a little bit about Caden Jenkins.
Yeah.
And by the way, I rewatched the Texas Bowl over the weekend and watched. Caden Jenkins was terrible in that game. Terrible. LSU targeted him every possession.
Yeah.
They did. But your secondary can't cover guys for 10 seconds. Don't care how good you are. That's like football 101, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where Baylor really struggled last year that we don't talk about. Fobbs White and Amarian Winston, and then the big kid in the middle, too, from Texas A&M. I'm forgetting his name at the moment.
Right.
But
yeah.
we need those line transfers to make a difference.
Last question on this before we go to break. When is the last – because and you'll know this off the top of your head maybe. When's the last time Baylor opened with a big appointment like this, like with an Auburn, with a Power 4 or back then Power 5 opponent?
The one that immediately comes to mind, and there may be one in between, but I don't remember one. I remember a lot of softies. Yeah. My freshman year in 2011, when Griffin won the Heisman, opening game was a non-conference matchup against TCU.
Okay.
And that's not even the same level because, like, that's TCU's in the Mountain West, but they, they had been to the Rose Bowl by that point. That was Pete, Gary Patterson, top 25 TCU came into Waco to open that season as a non-conference matchup. So that was a pretty big deal. But I cannot remember, like, a Big Ten or an SEC power coming to Waco to open a season.
It's pretty cool.
It's going to be unique and special.
On a Friday night.
Friday night, I think, is just going to elevate that atmosphere here. Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right, Pete Souza Show on a Monday. We're going to step aside. We're going to come back. We've got a lot to cover this morning. I can only hope that we have enough time. And remember, check out that crawl at the bottom of our screen. If you want to get involved, there is a way to. And there's a way to effectively get involved in Kerrville and in Central Texas in the wake of these devastating floods and this tragedy. Check it out. Link up with the Salvation Army and see what they say they need, and then go ahead and see if you can fill that need. But on the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little bit about women's basketball. I always go back and forth with the Caitlin Clark stuff. And Christine Brennan and a couple of former Baylor players are at the center, the eye of this storm, former Baylor women's players who played for Kim Mulkey, of a very controversial story that connects to Caitlin Clark and has come out now in depth, this story, as a result of an excerpt of Christine Brennan's book coming out about Caitlin Clark. Got to talk about that for a minute. When we come back, we'll also talk about VJ Edgecombe and his high-rising work. Once again, Summer League has started, and so has he. The Pete Souza Show has started as well. Thanks to Slovacics. We'll be back after this.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
All right, the Pete Souza show rolls on. We just had a little Pete and Pete, Big 12, Pete Mundo, HeartlandCollegeSports.com. Make sure you go ahead and check out their site and check out his YouTube show, especially this time of year. You're looking to ramp up and get ready for college football. That's the place to go. Also, at the bottom of your screen, you want to get involved and reach out and support the folks in Kerrville and Central Texas going through this rough time. Link up with the Salvation Army. Info is at the bottom of your screen, along with the phone number of how you can get in touch with them. Over the weekend, by the way, I got a tooth extracted on Thursday. And it took a while, which is like one of those deals where, you know, they got it's basically like some pliers and back and forth. And I'm such an idiot. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting a tooth extracted. Like, no big deal. Like, I'll just roll in there and go about my day. Like, nah, that ain't how it works, dude. You get a tooth ripped out of your head. You're going to be on the shelf at least for the rest of the day. But I don't like to even think that or admit that's a possibility. But oh boy, it was a reality on Thursday afternoon. But the folks at Waco Dental do a great job, and you know, nice to be on the right side of that. Because on Thursday I felt like I was on the wrong side of it. Also, the wrong side of history. Is that what we're seeing here from some of these young women playing in the WNBA? Quick story came out. Christine Brennan is writing a book about Caitlin Clark. And there was an excerpt of this book that was published on CNN last night. The book is called On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. So last year, in late September, WNBA playoffs, the Connecticut Sun and the Indiana Fever have a series. Christine Brennan is covering the series because she's writing the book on Caitlin Clark. I can imagine that some of the players knew that that's why she was there. And I don't imagine that these players knew exactly who Christine Brennan is and the force behind the progress of women's sports that she has been. An incident happened where I think it was Carrington, right? Yeah, DeJounte Carrington, I guess poked Caitlin Clark in the eye and maybe had done it on purpose and then laughed about it. After the game, or actually it was the following day, it was an off day where they were doing media, Christine Brennan said to Carrington, she asked her a question, hey, did you do that on purpose? You were laughing about it afterwards, like what's going on there? You know, kind of just trying to figure out, like, because this is the stuff that spilled into this year, right? There's a little bit extra that goes into the defense of Caitlin Clark to the point where it can seem malicious at times. But that's not the crux or the premise of the book. Christine Brennan is a journalist. She saw something. She asked a legitimate question after the game, okay, separate from all the noise. But DeWanna Bonner, who was playing for the Connecticut Sun at the time, approached Christine Brennan after Brennan had asked Carrington about the incident and got in her face. Like, didn't scream or yell, but was basically like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you trying to, egg my teammate on? Like, really becoming abrasive. Christine Brennan says, I tried to shake her hand. She wasn't having it. The next day, Carrington approaches Christine Brennan and gets in her face about NaLyssa Smith, who, by the way, is her girlfriend. And both these girls went to Baylor, played for Kim Mulkey, by the way, in that 20. Remember they lost to UConn in that bubble? It was a total BS call at the end of the game. So that was that team. NaLyssa Smith, who I love, that was my first college basketball game I did. Texas Tech, Baylor on ESPN Plus, filling in for J-Mo. That was like the start for me. They clinched the Big 12, and NaLyssa Smith had like 30 points. It was awesome. Anyways, I guess Carrington had heard, or it was just like whisper down the lane, that Christine Brennan was saying NaLyssa Smith was a bad teammate, right? So Carrington approaches her and says, stop talking SHIT about NaLyssa Smith saying she's a bad teammate. Okay, all this happens, and I kind of get it. Like, it's these players are like very reactive. It's a very sensitive topic for a journalist to come in and ask questions about Caitlin Clark and the physical activity and maybe some of the extra physical activity and some of the attitude, right? Like the laughing after Carrington poked her in the eye. By the way, the incident I just told you about, I have two people, a PR person and another woman on the Sun had to actually remove Carrington from that situation. Or I think it was, let me get that right. It was, they had to get Carrington, give me a second here. They had to separate Carrington, was kind of removed from that situation with Christine Brennan, okay? Then a representative from the WNBA says this to Christine Brennan, okay? This is a WNBA executive. Quote, unfortunately, most of our players have zero idea what real media exposure is. They don't know what real coverage is. They have been shielded in college, and then they come to the WNBA not knowing what real questions are. Frankly, our players just don't get it, okay? So that's a WNBA executive echoing the sentiments that so many people have been saying recently, right? We just saw in the wake of that Caitlin Clark being voted ninth best point guard of the WNBA. A lot of stuff that I think is rubbish, right? But this is not. See, this to me is eye-opening and important. An executive from the WNBA is saying, don't even worry about it, Christine Brennan. These young athletes are clueless as to how to deal with real media. Christine Brennan, obviously, USA Today columnist, written many books. I talked about her involvement as a pioneer for women's sports, okay? So then the next statement I got to read you, okay? Because the Players Association from the WNBA went ahead and said this, okay? You are not fooling anyone. No. Here's how it started off. This was the WNBA Players Association issued a statement. To unprofessional members of the media like Christine Brennan, you are not fooling anyone. That so-called interview in the name of journalism was a blatant attempt to bait a professional athlete into participating in a narrative that is false and designed to fuel racist, homophobic, misogynistic vitriol on social media. You cannot hide behind your tenure. That's embarrassing for the WNBA Players Association. And honestly, I wasn't looking at this close enough where I saw that last year. First of all, to get political and throw all those words in there, it's like a triggering word salad, right? Like that, I can't speak to the seriousness of any of that because I know that it is extremely serious, but I'm not a part of any of those walks of life, right? So I just know to accept it, respect it, and I'm just like, whoever wants to do whatever they want to do, that's fine, right? I don't think about that at all. Well, apparently these players did, and they tried to kind of throw that on Christine Brennan, somebody who's right. Christine Brennan, I can promise you, is not looking to ignite some kind of infighting between players in the WNBA. She's trying to figure out what's going on. If anything, she probably wants to give both sides of the story in this book that's probably going to kick ass when it comes out. And I'll bet you this book is not going to be some kind of like glowing up on a mountain Caitlin Clark stands. It's going to be a legitimate book that dissects the revolution behind Caitlin Clark and her success and how it's moved women's basketball forward. This is the problem, okay? Like excuse me, I'm getting excited and I'm burping. First of all, this is something that I'm so interested in. As a guy who's always loved women's hoops, worked around women's hoops, has always and I've disagreed with, Christine Brennan has written a lot of, she's been a lightning rod in different instances and circumstances covering sports. And I've not always agreed with her, but damn, I've always respected her. And the inability for the powers that be in the WNBA to convey to their players what she means, why she was there, really why she was there. Not like, oh, this girl's here writing a book about Caitlin Clark. It's going to be, she's coming to stoke up all kinds of nonsense. Like, clearly the message has been missed. And this illustrates, this is reality around all the noise that we hear. And honestly, me as a sports fan, you try to diffuse. I said yesterday or last week, this is not a big deal. The fact that Caitlin Clark's opponents didn't vote her the #1 point guard in all the WNBA in a season where she's missed almost half the year. I think at this point she has missed half of the games, right? Like, of course, like that doesn't shock me, and I'm not clutching my pearls. This is worrisome. This is really worrisome. The fact that there is that much sensitivity around certain questions asked by an estimable journalist simply because they're connected to Caitlin Clark, and they garner such a reaction out of some of these players to the point where, like, they're getting in the face of one of the best journalists to ever cover women's sports. Hey, that is real, and that is eye-opening, right? I think that article, those two statements, one by the member of the WNBA and two, one by the Players Association surrounding this situation, really reflect a lot of, I guess, the state of affairs right now in the WNBA and the reception that Caitlin Clark gets from other members of the WNBA. Remember, DeWanna Bonner, who was the head of the snake in this story, signed with the Fever. But then she was cut, and she's still a free agent right now. Nalissa Smith, I think, has been traded. She's still, I mean, not like this is like page 6, but she's still with DeJounte Carrington. And, hey, I think the only positive thing about this is that the two of them met while they were playing at Baylor, so that's good. I mean, I'm all for a love story. And I would imagine that can become tough when you're dating someone and you feel like they're being attacked. So there's a lot to unpack here, but the #1 thing that I've unpacked that is this big ugly thing taken out of the suitcase is that the executive in the WNBA says the players don't get it, and the players and the Players Association comes with that response that solidifies and confirms that they don't get it. They better get it soon. They better get it soon because the train could leave the station. There's all kinds of talk about if Caitlin Clark were to start her own league, you know, if that money train were to leave, like the WNBA would be in trouble. Now, I'm not saying these players aren't phenomenal at what they do, and I don't love watching the sport. But there is a celebration and energy and attention being paid now to women's basketball that was never there before. And if Caitlin Clark were to separate, could never be there again to this specific league. So that's my sentiments on that. I saw that yesterday. I was kind of fired up. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about sports again, like on the field. And also, we're going to take you to the movie theater. I saw F1 this weekend. Phenomenal. I've got a review, though. I'm going to tell you where Brad Pitt fits best on the other side of this break. Slovacics, thank you very much. We are presented by Slovacics. Go to West. I was kind of sped up this morning because we had to get to Pete Mundo. But go to West. Go see Ray. Stop off. Get a kolache. You don't even have to tell him that I sent you. I don't care. Just go. All right? We'll be right back.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com. I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again. OsleyMD.com.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at GolfPartnerUSA.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GolfPartnerUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better, you sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Angles 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
It is the Pete Souza Show. We are in our third block here on a Monday. Scotty Swingler riding shotgun with us. Tomorrow, we will head up to Big 12 Media Days. I will. Scotty's going to hold the fort down. So I'll be live from Big 12 Media Days, probably 10:40. And then following that, I'll be back in-house Wednesday to report all the happenings from Big 12 Media Days. Pretty pumped. I was talking to my buddy, the guy who produces the Inside the 12 show that I host from Raycom Sports. He's actually going up there working with ESPN this week, and he was telling me the roster of ESPN talent. So you got Matt Berry, who's going to be hosting it. Brock Osweiler is going to be up there with Barry. The great Katie George will be up there as well from ESPN. And I feel like there is, after talking to Mundo and just, I'm in the Big 12 bubble, but I'm telling you, man, this is so exciting this season. I mean, I can't wait. One game I've already, who else? Greg McElroy will be there too. One game I've got circled for us here is Arizona State and Baylor, like on September 21st. That is awesome. To have that game, we can only hope, right, that both teams will take care of business heading into that clash. And that'll be here in Waco, and that'll be awesome. That really will be awesome. I see Scotty getting ready to chat about that.
Yeah, I was just gonna affirm what you're saying, Pete. I think odds are very high. That's a top 25 matchup, and maybe even that early in the season. Outside odds, Waco people, that might be your college game day matchup. Honestly, especially both teams are 3-0. But even if Baylor loses to Auburn or SMU, if Baylor's 2-1, Arizona State's 3-0 coming to Waco.
Scotty's got game day.
Let's get him here, baby.
Game day is coming to Waco again.
But here's what I want. I will do anything to meet Pat McAfee. So if anybody has any connections, I can, anything.
Pat McAfee would love to meet you, I bet.
No, probably not. But I would love to meet him.
I love Pat McAfee. I was talking to Christy about that this weekend. She was like, I don't necessarily we were just talking about his rise and how it's undeniable. And she was like, I don't necessarily love him or that type of guy, but
I get it. Yeah, the people that are turned off by his personality, that's fine.
The guy is unapologetically himself.
Yes.
And that is why he's so special.
He's completely changed media forever.
Yeah.
He is unapologetically who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to love it. And I've said this before, I love that he has employed all of his friends.
Yeah.
And, if you read anything about how he takes care of the people that work for him, it's hard not to admire that, man.
And sometimes you got to sift through the BS that's out there. That's not real.
Yeah.
One thing I could tell you, my McAfee journey, and then we'll get to VJ Edgecombe and F1. Obviously, worked in sports, huge sports fan. My first, of course, I knew that he played for the Colts and was a great punter. Also knew that he had signed with Barstool. And then he ended up with ESPN on the Thursday Night Crew. It was a 3-man booth. I think it was Adam Amin, Pat McAfee, and someone else. I could be wrong. It was definitely McAfee. And the first game I saw him do, I think it was Cincinnati and UCLA on a Thursday night. And I did not like him. I was like, this guy's too much. I'm just not used to this in the booth. It was just unorthodox. And I wasn't quite ready for it. But then I started to hear him more, and I was like, I think I like this. I think I like this brand. I mean, at the end of the day, I always give the guy's experience speaks for itself, right? Amazing punter at West Virginia, so much time in the NFL. If there's one guy who actually has done it, it's him. In this specific booth that I'm watching. And then the show, he first, there was a while where he led into Mad Dog on Sirius before he was on ESPN. And I just was like, man, there's something happening here. And then I look forward to listening to him, and now we can't get enough. So it takes a minute. I think my point there is it's not always right away like a microwave. Sometimes you just got to kind of give talented people your time, and you will be rewarded, like I was with Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee Show. VJ Edgecombe, a reward for the Philadelphia 76ers over the weekend in Summer League in Salt Lake City. All he did was score 28 points on 13 of 27 shooting, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and I think 1 turnover. And watching the game, watching the highlights after the game, he was comfortable attacking, and he was comfortable finishing in traffic. And that is what we know the best version of VJ is. And to know that he is, by the way, it was also, Ace Bailey was playing in that game. He had, what did I wrote down here? He had 8 points on 3 of 13 shooting. Now, this game, I get it. Big scheme means nothing, right? But I do think it's promising from a mental standpoint and a confidence level that VJ was attacking, he was bloodthirsty, and he was, without question, a cut above everyone else on the floor. And I think in Summer League, as an NBA executive, that is what you want to see. Because there are so many dudes at Summer League who just, and even guys that are high-round draft picks, right? They go and they just kind of disappear, whether they play limited minutes because that's what they have agreed to, or whether they're not playing at all until they're playing a little bit. VJ came to play, and his play spoke for itself. So that is a performance that I think that is exciting, too, for those of us around here who enjoy the success of Baylor and enjoy the success of former Baylor players. And I think it just speaks to the pipeline that Scott Drew has put together here at Baylor, and I think will continue to spit out gems, particularly this year again with Tunde Yesufu. From all accounts, by all accounts, he is special. There's been a little bit of scuttlebutt about A.J. DeBonsa struggling playing for the USA team, which I don't know enough about to comment on, but I read that, or I read Ferschilla tweeted about it, and he debunked any naysayers. Was basically like, get out of here, talking bad about DeBonsa. So I'm telling you, what a time to be a part of the Big 12. Football, basketball. You talk about these sports, and you're always SEC, Big 10 is first. I'm telling you, the Big 12 is stealing some of the shine, flat out. They are stealing some of the shine. And then something I wanted to talk about today. I got to slow down a little bit, but we got so much to get in. Right? I want to talk about F1. I actually took some notes in the movie, okay? Review, I told Scotty Saturday night, I gave it an A-. It is everything that you are looking for from a summer movie. And I balk at calling it a blockbuster because it's not so much, it is an extremely cinematic experience. But the dialogue meets the explosive substance of the movie, or I should say explosiveness, because it is a cinematic experience. I know nothing about F1, okay? And I feel like I am much better. I feel like I was educated on it during the movie. And I am not, I'm the kind of guy like Jurassic World for me, right? I won't go see Jurassic World. Jurassic Park, I saw it in the theater, okay? After 20 minutes of fake dinosaurs stomping all over, I'm good, right? I appreciate it. I watch it. I'm good, right? But it's just not for me, okay? This movie, every different turn these cars went around, I was on the edge of my seat. And I don't know if it's the beauty of F1, the way that those tracks are so unique around cities and places, but it was so well done. Brad Pitt reaffirming that he is at best when he's playing someone like Brad Pitt. That's always been Moneyball, right? Like this movie, Even this movie sucked, but the Mexican, I felt like Brad Pitt, when he's playing someone that I feel like is sort of close to who he is. What are you laughing at? I think he's amazing, and he's one of my low key like favorite actors.
You're captivating, Pete. I mean, you're captive audience right now.
So you think I'm a sucker?
No. Why would I think that?
Yeah, you do.
I want to go see this movie.
You're gonna love it. Couple nitpicks without giving anything away.
Yeah, share it.
For me, who is sort of like, I don't have too much of an ego when it comes to shit I don't know, right? Like, I don't know about F1. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you like I know about F1. And the movie, they hit you over the head sometimes with what's happening. Like, you know, this guy's probably famous, right? But whoever the broadcaster is, he is, and I'll do it with football, right? Like, he's calling this game because they pipe in feed from whoever is calling like the race, you know? But he's explaining the rules at the same time. It would be like, Swingler has it on the 30-yard line. If he can make it across the line that's called the end zone, it will be 6 points for Baylor. And if they hit an extra point, it will be 1 point. That would be 7, and Baylor would have the lead. It was like he was explaining everything that was happening in an F1 race and how it would affect the rules and the numbers and the stats. Like, I was like, there is no way that an announcer calls an F1 race like this, where he's like, it's like F1 for dummies all race long. So that was something I was like, well, that's kind of hard to believe. But even still, it was honestly necessary for someone like me. So the moment I kind of got past that in my mind, I was like, well, you know, mentally I'm kind of nitpicking about this, but I don't know what's going on, so I actually can lean on this. So that was like a weird moment, but it was also pretty important. I love, and Days of Thunder did this. They take shots and scenes from actual races, actual drivers. You know, Verstappen is like a part of the movie, like a pretty big part. I don't think he has too many speaking roles, but like he is there and he's talked about a lot. I love that. There is a Top Gun feel to it. It's not Top Gun, but I can tell you, like, shortly into the movie, I did ask myself, I was like, this is like Top Gun. Like, that's what they were looking for. And at least that's what I feel. And they came pretty close. Like, it's not anywhere near the legacy film. I don't feel like it will be. The Top Gun, the original was, and then Top Gun Maverick was. But it was an amazing movie. And it was, and I'm pretty hardcore. Like, I don't like movies where, like, there was good enough dialogue. Parts of it were cheesy. But, like, you know, again, you got to suspend disbelief. It's the movies, and you have to go there expecting that, you know, it's not a reality show. It's not a documentary. But overall, man, I was like, man, this is a very good movie. And there are a lot of surprises. And like, there's a lot of, you don't know what's behind every corner, or should we say every turn. But Brad Pitt was amazing. He plays within himself. When Brad Pitt plays a guy that's sort of like Brad Pitt, he's lethal. And that's what he was in this movie. The self-deprecation, you know, kind of like this comeback story, this superstar who wasn't even a has-been, right? I can't call him a superstar. This driver that wasn't even a has-been, he was like a never will be, right? People were saying. But it's awesome. And the other dude is amazing in it. One of my favorite guys, the guy Javier. Javier Bardem is amazing. That guy, I could watch him read the phone book, dude. He really is. He is amazing in everything he's in, and I appreciate him lending his amazing acting credentials and skill set that maybe is a little above joining people like me on a summer thrill ride like this. Amazing work, Scotty.
I didn't see it. I don't have much to say. Those guys are both great.
Yeah.
I do think you're talking about Brad Pitt at his best. When I think of Brad Pitt at his best, I actually don't think of the characters you're describing, although they're all very good.
Go ahead.
I think of is it Cliff Booth, the name of the stunt man he plays in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Very good. But dude,
and I think of Colonel Aldo Rain in Inglourious Bastards.
Yes. Now the Colonel is totally separate.
I mean, that's one of the greatest characters in any movie.
But the stunt guy, there's
a little more Brad Pitt.
There's a little bit of Pitt in there.
Yeah.
That's the point.
No, you're right. And like Ocean's 11, he's very a similar vibe. I mean, I feel you.
I even feel like, and this is for my sober friends out there who don't drink, Brad Pitt is like sober now, and it's coming out more and more. And in the movie, his character, like they were at several moments where people would be drinking and he wasn't drinking. And I swear, I think he was like, I'm going to be like,
that's awesome.
In his mind, I think he was like, this character has been through a lot in his life. It was clear that he was like a loose cannon, and now he doesn't drink anymore, but we're not talking about it. That was something like a little inside baseball.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. I have a question.
Yeah.
So I think if we were talking about movie stars, who's the biggest movie star of the last 40, 50 years? I think most people would say Tom Cruise first. Brad Pitt is probably on a short list of people contending for like second place.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I would have to say Brad Pitt. I would say Brad Pitt. Who's at the top of the game? Pedro Pascal.
Oh! In the current cultural zeitgeist, yes,
he's at the top of the mountain, right?
Currently,
currently
he is. But there's a lot of people kind of annoyed by that. Like, I don't think that's going to stick. Like for me, the definition of movie star is probably Tom Cruise and it's probably Harrison Ford. Those are the two first leading men I think of. Denzel Washington's probably very, very high, close to that level too. I think Brad Pitt is like.
He is
kind of right there, man.
Some people, and he has like slowly been kind of chipping away, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been like
the little Mount Rushmore.
Correct. It hasn't been like one. Like
No.
Harrison Ford was Han Solo and Indiana Jones. Like it's just hard to beat. You played two of the most iconic characters ever. That's not Brad Pitt, but every time he's a leading man in a film like this, you're reminded. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
He really is.
I do have one more theory on movies too, as it relates to sports. I feel like, in the NBA, for instance, right? Like every team feels like we've got to get a superstar to win a title, or maybe two. Movies are the same way. Every preview that I saw, I mean, and these are good movies, but they always have to have like there's a movie coming out, and I forget what it is.
It just helps.
Channing Tatum is playing the lead in a movie that you would never think that Channing Tatum would play the lead in, but Channing Tatum.
Or The Rock is doing that biopic right now.
Yes, about the MMA guy.
Yeah.
But you don't. I would say this, and I guess it's an unfortunate reality. Like in the NBA, the Thunder won the championship, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a wonderful player, and obviously he's a superstar, but he's not quite the guy that can open a movie basketball wise. In the NBA,
he's not box office.
No, exactly. And I think the NBA or movies are the same way. Like some of the best movies we've ever seen are not, there's not overwhelming star power in them. Right?
Yeah, but those aren't going to be box office either.
I wish they could be.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think most people who love film wishes you didn't have to cast a big name to make money at the box office.
I put one thing down in here.
But the reality is most of the here's what I do feel about most actors.
I put Pedro Pascal as like Anthony Edwards right now. That's his equivalent.
Box office but can't get it done?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
so that's what I was about to say. I think and we're getting really geeky here, but I love it. Film is one of the few places where I think often the public rewards talent. Often, not always. I think there are questions about, is Pedro Pascal a great actor, or is he just a really handsome man who's 50 years old and has
people
played...
who people like.
Yeah, and he's likable, right. But most actors who are big names are, the most talented ones. Denzel Washington, Leonardo DiCaprio, Harrison Ford. These guys are, elite performers.
Yes.
Most of the directors who make money, not always, but most of the directors who make money, Nolan's the first one I think of. James Cameron.
Yeah.
These are guys that are some of the very best to ever do it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of these indie films or smaller name actors, talented, you wish they could bring in a draw, writers.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it is the best talent that gets rewarded too.
100%.
Do you see Scarlett Johansson over the weekend became the highest box office actor ever?
From Avengers or whatever?
From all time.
Yeah.
She passed Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, but there's an asterisk because she's in those Marvel movies, right?
Well, but so is Samuel L. Jackson. Like, yeah. If you're in a bunch of franchise films, that'll get you there.
Sam Jackson is?
Yeah, he's in all the Marvel movies. He's Nick Fury.
Okay.
Zach Burke's sitting over here. He could have told you that.
Zach knows that. All right.
Yeah.
I've been exposed. It's time to go. Oh, did you get the email I sent you? No, you didn't get it. All right, sorry. We're gonna play an adorable video at some point this week.
We do our show prep via text.
I know.
Yeah.
I could call you.
Or you could call. But yeah, no, I didn't see your email. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. All right. We will be back tomorrow. Scotty's going to be hosting the show. I will be at Big 12 Media Days. And then we're going to be talking all things Big 12. It's going to be awesome. And then Wednesday we'll come back. We'll unpack it all. The Pete Souza Show. Thank you, Slovacics. Make sure you like and subscribe. And make sure, when you're watching back today or you're watching any of these segments, you're going to see this scroll at the bottom of the screen. And Salvation Army, Kerrville, or the Kerr County Relief Fund. Those are two ways you can get involved. The phone numbers on the replay will be constantly scrolling. Get involved if you can. In the meantime, I know we're sending prayers. So the Pete Souza Show is back tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day.
It's the Pete Souza Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.